Thank you for having me live on this platform at Talk TV Africa, where we discuss, African-related development, on how to salvage Africa to an extent that we witness development somewhere in Haiti. I know that Haiti is not part of Africa. It's not Africa, but we are getting to know that, the president or the Kenyan government, has been involved trying to bring down or even settle the crisis happening currently in Haiti, where a notorious, and I want to use that word notorious because it was being believed that man was also part of the hierarchy of his Haitan police, talking about Jimmy Chavez, who was being believed to be behind rebellious activities, and gun running movement, ragtag rebels disturbing the environment of Haiti that have caused a lot of developmental and human loss to that state or that country called Haiti. Kenyan government actually stepped their foot, after several agreements were being signed that could not be able to hold. There was a lot of ceasefire, and there was a lot of, government trying to shift ground to make sure, things return to Haiti the way it's supposed to be, peacefully. But it has not happened, and that has led to William Ruto, the president of Kenya, deploying over 2,500 armed, heavily armed, special force of the Kenyan police down to Haiti. They are already on the trail of Jimmy Chavez at that country currently now, and there has been a stationed camp for the Kenyan police, to carry out operations, field operations, to make sure that the man is being, of course, held, or if they couldn't get him, but at least to make sure that they curtail the excesses of this gang leader in somewhere in Haiti currently now. That is an African country, trying to show a kind of strength in faraway Haiti, where we believe that Haiti is just a country, that has a larger, a more we are sorry. We have slaves, black slaves. We are taken to those countries, and it is still believed that some of those people, when you get there, you still find some culture and tradition that's related to some traditions that we have here in Nigeria. Let's see how that thing is going to come up at the end of the day, and let's see the development, how far the Kenyan government is going to achieve success there. In this platform, this is what we do on daily basis. We highlight, developments in Africa. All is pointing at, how the youths of Africa are going to transform Africa at the end of the day. And we have seen developments like that. We are believing that the African youth do not need to depend on the white man. I think at the time will come, we begin to distance ourselves, from too much loyalty to IMF, to World Bank, and of course to these leaders of the world, trying to really put Africa down. Africa are importing expertise. We are going to school, we are spreading all over the world, we are getting expertise, we are getting orientation, that there must be transformation of Africa. And if possible, like some of my friends will just put it that way, we don't need to have AU again, we don't need to have ECOWAS again. We need to sit down and look at organization there where we can form, that we engineer the transformation that is needed for Africa to transform. And that is why we keep on having this kind of issues, especially in Nigeria, where it is prominent, or not even prominent, it became significant, that we do not be able, to hold our leaders to accountable. A lot of things are happening, and we don't need, I believe that some things need to be done, and this is the real time to do it. There's no time again. If we must put down, transform this nation, then the youth must stand up to the occasion, like just what their counterparts in Kenya are actually doing. Our belief here on Talk TV Africa is that Africa must rise, and if Africa must rise, then the youth must be ready to transform Africa, and of course bring leadership to what it is, bring leadership to what Africans can be proud of. We can't continue to at this 21st century begin to continue to depend on the instructions and the developmental imperialism of the Western world on Africa. No, Africans need to sit down, and get the leaders, the right leaders, in position of authority if we must actually step up our environment called Africa. And now, on those developments, that's what we are actually looking at. That with what is happening in Haiti, it has an extension, of course, in Africa. We don't need such a rebel gang like the Jimmy of Haiti, trying to cause havoc instead of seeing a way to revolutionize his own country, and bring dividends of democracy down to the people. The African youth are not going to take that kind of part. The African youth are going to stand up, and take their continent back like other continents of the world. Thank you for watching on Talk TV Africa. Keep a date with us, on this platform. I promise you, we are going to be giving you developments around Africa and the world, and of course, Nigeria. Thank you for watching.